Hello again and welcome back to Yosemite Valley. Hey there everyone, and it's Wednesday, it's hump day again. So before we jump into the episode actually, there's one question I wanted to ask you guys. So if there would be a DLC soon, which one would you love to see next? So here's the reason why I'm putting that question out that quickly without further explanation or whatever. So disclaimer, I have no freaking idea what's going on. Sometimes that I have early access and stuff. I think we can communicate that pretty often and pretty open, but this time, trust me, there is absolutely nothing I know. But given the fact that we know how Frontier treated Planet Coaster and also Jurassic World Evolution, we know that it is about time to think about a DLC in the upcoming, let's say, 2 months at least. So I know we talked a lot about animals in the past and stuff like that you would love, but now realistically, if you could choose, what would you wish to have as a next DLC for Planet Zoo? Because I feel like lately this game really needs a push in some sort of way, and I would assume that a DLC would do wonders. Me personally, I don't want to force you guys too much into one direction, but I think because you would be pretty curious to know what I want is like for me, I think I would need aquatic stuff. So, to be honest, I think I would be pretty disappointed if we would get like let's say a normal, in inverted commas please, but a normal DLC like the Arctic one. So like 4 animals, a few pieces and stuff like that. It's not like that I don't like them, but I feel like the game needs a bigger push. The game needs something that, leverages a little bit more the potential that the game surely has, but something that really brings back people to the game and makes the overall replayability of the game a bit more obvious. So yeah, for me it would be aquatic, because I think in comparison to, for example, birds or aviaries, there is more in the game already that can be used. So that said, you can see that in today's episode, that the Wednesday is most likely the day where we are focusing on the things that are in between the animals. So something in regards to the beautification of the zoo or the functionality. And in today's episode, we will actually care about the road layout that leads into the parking lot. And in addition, we are looking into the entrance area. Another little spoiler here, we won't be ready with overall design. This is mainly because I had some struggle to put this all down, but you can see I improved already quite a bit of the layout, and there went some thoughts into it. I will explain when the time comes to really talk about the finished stuff. But there is a new addition to that area that many of you guys requested lately. It was always planned, but I just didn't find the time to implement that. But now you see, there is our friend the choo-choo train, and the choo-choo train actually is meant to be an actual train. So it's not going to be a park connecting train or like a people mover, so to say, in terms of within the zoo. It will be an external ride that brings you to the both sides of the zoo. So maybe this is also news for you, but this zoo will get 2 entrances to both sides. So this is the, let's say, the south side of the zoo, the main entrance, the one that the whole zoo is planned around. But there will be another one on the other side, because actually the valley is accessible from both sides. So there is also another entrance that will be done quite late into this series, and hopefully after a few DLCs and after a few changes to the game that might make sense to wait for that. So you will see that eventually in the future. Now, I did this on stream again. So again, as always, when I have my footage from the stream, here's my reminder, because I know that there are still a lot of new people coming to this series every now and then, which I totally love. And for those of you who checked in the first time ever in this series in that episode, welcome everyone, and I highly recommend to watch the series from the beginning and then come back to me, ask me some questions, give me some ideas, and I'm more than willing to implement that into the series, because this should be as interactive as possible. Now back to the topic of streaming. It's kind of following what I just said a few seconds ago. The reason why I like to stream that park is because of your input in kind of a live fashion, because obviously that helps the most if you guys in the chat can already tell me your opinion on what I do. And so this is also why I decided to build that bridge here instead of going in a different way. And yeah, we have constant talks about that, and people decided that we can go with the same roof here instead of doing a new one. And it's actually pretty cool always to have your opinion in real time, so to say, because you can adjust some stuff, and sometimes there are some ideas you wouldn't have on your own anyway. So yeah, I'm always thankful. If you want to join me in my Twitch streams, there is a link in the description to my channel. Just go there and give me a follow, and hopefully you also, for whatever reason, but Twitch also decided to implement that little bell icon. So if you want to get notified whenever I stream, you need to hit that bell as well, or notification icon, or whatever that is, you know, social media shit, I don't know. But it's very much necessary if you want to catch me. Other than that, I can already tell you that I'm most likely streaming on Mondays. The time will always be told in my Discord channel, and yeah, so that's kind of the organizational stuff around my Twitch streams. But again, I try to be a bit more regular there. I think I got it pretty nicely in the past couple months. With the exception of some Mondays, I managed to be there all the times. And also, if I find some additional time on the weekends or whatever, I am always spontaneously going to stream. That is something you will always find in the Discord channel too. Now, let's talk a bit more about this choo-choo train, which is going to be the connection between the south entrance and the north entrance of the zoo. And this is going to be also something that goes a little bit into the zoo, but more in a cosmetic fashion. So there won't be actually a little station inside the zoo, because the main reason why I don't want to do this is I am thinking of hopefully getting another kind of track ride in the future that could be used, or like a transport ride that could be used for it. To be honest, I would have loved to have the gondola, but the gondola design of Planet Zoo for me is way too modern for the zoo to take. So hopefully there is going to be something more modern, and we could play a little bit more with the levels of the valley, different height levels. That would be awesome. But again, I have no idea yet. So that is why I'm just willing to wait before I have to redo this all over again. So the train should actually be something that is going to curl around that zoo, only on one side though, and it will go a little bit inside outside, like dipping into the zoo design every now and then, that you can peek through and see the train. But again, it won't be part of the zoo. Actually, it will be in that area. And I think this is also maybe a situation where we should talk about the idea of Yosemite Valley, while you see me doing a little bit of a very standard tunnel design. There's nothing very crazy and I don't know, inspiring about this thing. It's a very normal design. It's kind of tedious to build, but it's nothing special. Anyways, back to the zoo design in general. So it's a valley, and valleys can be pretty different. You know, there are valleys that are acting a bit like a dead end. You know, there are valleys that are a dead end, and so this is kind of something you have to keep in mind for whatever you design, because you have to create some kind of circle design for whatever you do, because you want to get people in and out again. And also what goes into security reasons and stuff like that is always, you have always to think about having a circular design that brings people always to some exits in quite a short amount of time. Now, this time around here, this is not going to be a dead-end valley. It is definitely going to be a valley that has two access points in the north and in the south of this area. And I planned this that way to make sure that the zoo is not meant to be a one-way thing, so you can actually access that from two sides, and then the idea is that you can always discover the zoo in two different ways. And this is also why I talked about the fact already that we cannot put all the special animals on one side of the river and then put the, let's say, more generic ones on the other side. So the main idea I was trying to translate into this design is that we always have a different storyline from whatever entrance you enter the zoo. And this is, I think, something we couldn't tackle quite yet, because honestly, I'm still waiting for more animals and maybe aquatic stuff and aviaries and stuff. So I do have that in mind. This also the reason why I don't want to move forward too quickly, and why I decided to always release the zoo whenever there is a new DLC on the horizon. Now, that being said, for the next couple of episodes, because honestly, even though if we would get end of March, beginning of April, end of April, a next DLC, that would still be, let's say, 4 to 8 weeks that we need to have. And if I continue my normal schedule on that, it would still be, let's say, 8 to 16 episodes, so quite a bit what we could do. And yeah, I think I'm going to focus on filling in the gaps, on focusing on maybe bringing in some more generic animals that go in between, some smaller ones. We definitely do need to go into some more monkeys maybe, but I'm just not really sure which ones yet. So if you guys have an idea, please let me know, comment down below which kind of animal you want to see, which is maybe not the most appealing one. And please, we are talking, this is also a very important point here. I have kind of a struggle because the animals in Planet Zoo have an appeal system, as you know. Some animals are more appealing to the guest in game than others. But they're obviously not always matching with your personal preference. So please, by talking about appealing animals, I'm talking about the level in Planet Zoo and not your personal preference. Because I know that some people just love flamingos, for example, as I find them also very cool. And also, I think we agree that they were a great addition, for example, for Koali Zoo, and that was one of the first animals we had. Now, that is not always the case because it has to fit into the story. So if you would like to see flamingos next, that's totally fair, but please keep in mind that they're totally not the most appealing animals in the game. And that being said, I'm looking for low to medium appealing animals next in this area of the, let's say, south side of the zoo, mainly to make sure that there can be a nice disperse in guest traffic in the later stages of the zoo, so that we still keep some amazing animals for the rest of the zoo. Because keep in mind, we already have on this side of the river, we already have some incredible animals for the guests to see. So we have the lions, we have cheetahs, we have the Siberian tiger, we have a wonderful big habitat out of the lemurs, the different kind of lemurs, with the pronghorn, with the bison. We have the two giant tortoises. So yeah, quite some animals that are having quite a good appeal. But yes, I do know there's a bit. Oh, I forgot the chimpanzees, obviously. So yeah, we are still having some appealing animals left, obviously, and we still need to try to bring the Bengal tiger in the big cat area as well. And so yeah, as I said, there's quite a bit of traffic going to the big cat area, naturally. So yeah, that's kind of it. I think there's almost only space for maybe one very appealing animal left in that area of the zoo, and then the other ones have to go to the rest of the zoo. Okay, so I think that makes a bit more sense for you guys to understand. Now, if we continue talking about the zoo design, as I said, it's going to be a different story from both sides of the zoo, how you enter them, and I also want to make sure that there is a reason for the people to use both sides. And I think next up, I need your input, guys, what you want to see here in the zoo. And maybe if you figured something that you would love to be fixed, also let me know. If there's something that really bugs you about the design as of now, and you have potentially already mentioned in the comments previously, and I just didn't notice, or I didn't do that yet, just let me know again. I will try to make kind of a list and bring in as much as I can. And also, I will take a nip of my water because my voice is going to be a bit more scratchy here. Alrighty, back we are. I hope the voice is going to be a bit better. Yeah, I have to say, we are moving with high speed towards the pollen allergy time, and I'm struggling a lot to keep my voice alive. I don't know if you guys know it, but for those of you who are following me already for quite a while, they do know that this time of the year is always a struggle with my voice, because as soon as the pollen allergy really hits, I'm going to have a very scratchy, very heavy, not heavy, but like a very weird voice for a kind of couple of weeks, because it's not really that I'm having some throat issues, but it's more like there is so much going on in my throat with all the pollens and being it's just a little bit itchy, and I don't know, it's yeah, the freaking allergy does its job. I think it's because it's kind of a bit bigger than it usually is because of all the bacteria and stuff that goes on there, and then kind of creates this problems with me. Mainly the reason is I cannot talk for longer than, let's say, 2 or 3 minutes without actually having a problem of having a very scratchy voice. That really is a nasty thing to come to get along with. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing to do. It's not like that I'm stressing my voice too much or whatever. It's just naturally I cannot really do anything against that. I really hope you can forgive me and you can still listen to it. I know it's sometimes I do have to say it is a bit hard to listen. When I do listen back to my episodes, I do notice that quite a bit, I have to say, and I'm trying my best to do a bit of post-production to make it less annoying, so to say. But you know, there's almost like nothing you can really do about that scratchiness. There's not like a soft filter that filters out the scratchiness out of your throats. That'd be awesome, but there is just not. Okay, now I think the last couple minutes we can take to talk about what I actually did today. I already told you at the beginning what I'm going to do. Now you saw most of it, and I have to say I'm feeling very confident with what I did here. I'm really happy. The next thing is we are going to make like this kind of road guidance how's this rail thing called? I think I'm not really sure how exactly that's called. Made a custom one with a lot of pieces, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we have this guide rail, whatever it's called, in here, and that's going to be a design that we are going to carry on onwards with this road over here. But yeah, I was just focusing to get this design done for this very entry of the park, where the bus and you know, the kind of normal vehicles will enter from. Also, big shout out here to Ricey again. I think it's also time to say I'm just okay, so normally I'm not using anything from the workshop, and by anything I mean anything. I'm like always doing my stuff myself, but I kind of have to open up a little bit here for some things, because it's a bit different from Planet Zoo. There's just a little bit of I have to put it a bit of a different perspective. Some things are just so good that there's no reason for redoing it, because whatever I do, however whatever time I put into doing that, it won't get any better because the stuff is perfect. Mainly because the experience we had from Planet Coaster gave us the optimum way of doing it. So that is the way with the fonts. And Ricey already did some incredible fonts in Planet Coaster. So she did also in Planet Zoo. Now, again, there's no reason for me to do font myself when it is that incredible. And that said, I just used it to create a custom sign for Yosemite Valley. And honestly, I'm just super happy with the final design. It is a very cool design at the end of the day, and yeah, there's just no reason for not using it. And I think you guys should be fine if I use a few things. Same goes for the bus design of Mr. Domes, and Ricey also provided some piece heavy is kind of the biggest understatement of this entire freaking decade. She did some graffiti designs on the buses, and I believe the graffiti itself has like 500 or 600 pieces, and if I'm going to do like 2 or 3 buses, it kind of crashes the area. You can just not walk into that area before my computer lags to hell. So props to you, Ricey, for whatever reason you did that, and however you worked yourself through the freaking lag. But it's awesome, it's great. It's just as a cosmetic thing to look at, and as long as it's far back in the background and I don't need to move over there quite often, it's all fine. Anyways, that's already kind of the end of this episode. You can see there's a lot of design that went into this area, a lot of interesting things to look at. The road marking has to be done yet. It's not fully done, obviously. It's just a bit of a proof of concept with the yellow line, but that's about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, if you want to catch me live, as always, the reminder, find my Twitch link in the description down below. If you're new here, as always, and you want to join the club, the crew, the camel crew, make sure to check the links in the description, or just leave a kind of subscription here. That would be awesome. And then we're going to see each other in the next episode on Friday, Saturday, I don't really know. Anyways, see you there. Have a good one, and bye, guys. Alrighty guys, thank you for watching this video, I really do appreciate that. As always, make sure to check out also my social media channels, you can find me everywhere under @RudyRandCamel. Also big thanks to the crew, you can see it on the left hand side right now. And as always, if you want to see more, you click that card on the top right. And if you want to stick around because you like the stuff you've just saw, whatever, you know what I mean, just click that sub button which is to the bottom right of the screen right now. But everything else I can say is have a great time and see you next time. Bye guys.